Okay, looks like we are good. Hello everyone, Artemu the Violet Wizard here. And today we are continuing Rayman Origins. Last time on our journey for the Glade of Dreams, we managed to clear the Sea of Serendipity. One of my more favorite areas in this game. And we are about ready to head off into the fifth world on our journey. The Mystical Peak. Spelt a bit different from how you would expect peak to be, but, you know, it's a little fun there. So this is going to be very interesting, because we are actually about at the halfway point in the game, believe it or not. We still got a ways to go on this adventure. And we're definitely going to see a lot as we head into the next level of the game, Moseying the Mountain. Let's mosey. So for this session, we're going to be playing as Globox, since we had previously played as Rayman in the last session. So right away, we got ourselves a bit of a trial here right at the start. I was gonna ignore getting that guy, I guess. Got some more of these enemies from earlier in our adventure to deal with, and okay, so getting to this guy, gotta bounce up here, and that takes care of that guy. So yeah, this is gonna be fairly interesting. Out of all of the areas in this game, I want to say the Mystical Peak is probably the area I recall the least about. But this should be a very interesting place to explore, as we are high up in the mountains now compared to some of the other locations we have been. I'd say this is probably a pretty standard world as far as, like, mountain-esque levels go. But, you know, it also has its good sides as well. Like, obviously, this area has some really good scenery, as you can obviously tell. Just really love this game's art style, and this area is no exception with a lot of the mountainous terrain here. Alright, so what we want to do here, grab onto this vine, wait for those two... those dark vines, we have to wait for the right moment to drop down to grab the coin there. So this is gonna be a bit tricky for us to grab, I feel. There we go. Yeah, if you do a ground pound, that should enable you to grab that pretty easily. So I think there's still more Lums we can get on this platform. Yeah. Anytime you see the little bubbles there, woo, we got another nymph to save. I want out! Well, we obviously gotta save her, given what we've gotten from the nymphs previously. So this should be a pretty good skill we're about to get. Oh, come on. They comboed me with a side of fries and a drink. Alright, let's try this again. A little worried about doing this level with Globox, since he tends to be on the slower side compared to the other characters, but we should be good. As long as we keep our momentum going, we should be able to save this lassie. Now we gotta ride the air currents up here while dodging these dark vines. We can very carefully slip on by, we can grab that coin, nabbing us some more Lums. And I think we are just about at the end here, probably. On. There we go. Power to run on walls! this is a very good ability we just got from this nymph. By the way, this nymph's name is Helena Handbasket, which is, you know, an interesting name. So, with her ability, we now have the ability to run up walls. Specifically, anytime you see walls that curve like this, you're able to just run up them, which is going to be fairly useful while exploring these areas. Anyway, let's follow our fellow frog guys here as we just run up the mountain peak. Oh, we got ourselves a bit of a mini-game here. So you have just timed your movements with that of the other frogs, and we've opened up the path, which is pretty fitting given that in Rayman 2, Globox has the ability to create rain from dancing. So it's pretty interesting seeing something like that here in this game. It's an interesting bit of continuity. But yeah, as you can see here, the wall running ability is going to be really useful to us in this adventure. And I'm actually going to take the hit here because I want to grab this coin. Please hurt me. Thank you. Yeah, kind of messed up there, but don't worry. We'll have plenty of time to grab everything we need. So yeah, this is definitely a very interesting section of the mountain. We got kind of a Buddhist temple-like area where Globox is kinda here doing like rituals and stuff. And of course we gotta help these guys out because they're getting attacked by Darktoons and other such monsters. So yeah, a good chunk of this area is gonna be focused on helping out Globox's people. And also taking care of a few other stuff around here. It's also very fun. You got these guys where you can tug on their beards in order to grapple around. Very similar to how we did things with Palakis back in the first area. Also, I love that you're able to run on ceilings with this ability. It's very cool. It's a really awesome upgrade for us. We are going to be able to travel through so many different places now that we have this power. So good. Let's go pop this thingy here and just let this wheel crush these guys, enabling us to free some more Electoons. Now that we saved those guys, we should be getting pretty close to the end here, though we still got a couple more Lums we gotta try and get. We'll have plenty of time to grab what we need. Just bash all these guys away. Alright, I want to see if we can go up here, because there's those Lums that we can get, as well as a coin. Can we grab you? There we go. And we'll just make our way over here. Run across this wheel to lift up the wall. And I don't think I want to go through that door just yet, but we'll be fine. Definitely made plenty of progress around here, as it is. Especially with the amount of Lums we currently have. Yeah, we're definitely going to get the medal. We can just ride the vine over to these guys and smack them away. And that does it for the first level. Honestly, not too bad. And makes good use of our new wall climbing ability, which we're going to see plenty of use in the rest of this adventure. Oh man. Still thinking about how we still have so much of this game we still have to do after we've made it this far in. It's definitely a fun game. It just takes a while to get through everything. I want to say that Rayman Legends doesn't really have the kind of pacing that this game has. But then again, that game also includes the levels from Rayman Origins in it. But anyway, we're moving on to the next level, Mystical Monkeys. So we'd be seeing some interesting folks here, I imagine. So we quickly go up this wall right away to grab some Lums. Smack that aside. And then what can we grab here? Just another ring of those guys. It's definitely pretty interesting having a chance to see other members of Globok's species in this game. Because back in Rayman 2, the only other frog characters you would see are, besides Globok's, is his wife Glade and their many, many children. Yeah, it's kind of pretty funny to think about that Globok's has so many kids with his wife. And there's even a mission in Rayman 2 where you have to rescue all of Globok's kids after they've been captured by the pirates and are basically enslaved. Okay, that is going to be a bit tricky for us to get, I could wager. But yeah, it's definitely very nice that we get to see more of these frog guys here. And seeing that these guys also have, like, mystic abilities, similar to how Globok's did in the first game. I wouldn't say that the Rayman series is the best when it comes to continuity, but there are a few moments where they do have callbacks to some previous adventures. That is very nice to see. And of course, this game itself has a lot of callbacks to the original Rayman. And even a bit of Rayman 2 in there. I don't know how much of Rayman Free gets referenced here. I mean, there are a few enemies that bear striking resemblance to the hoodlums. But, not too much. Alright, want to wait for the right time to grab those. That's going to be tricky, given how much... So I think what we need to do is wall jump after we grab that, and we should be able to elevate ourselves enough to... Yep! If you do a wall jump, you can propel off the wall and get up here. Alright, before we do that, I want to see if we can run up here, and we can grab another coin. Very good. It's very nice the amount of secrets they hide throughout these areas. They really make you feel smart for figuring out all the different ways to grab what you need in these levels. Anyway, we're back up here on the outskirts of the mountain. And this area is definitely looking a lot more icy as we are going higher up the mountain. Which is to be expected, since these kind of atmospheres tend to get very cold. It's got these rock golem guys that we can now deal with. Alright, there was a coin over there we could have grabbed. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to be able to backtrack to get that. It looks like we might just barely be able to. Now we can go over here to find a secret. Alright, I see what we gotta do here. Gotta smash up the ice, and then we can use that in order to crush these guys. Bam! That's a pretty nice way of taking care of our foes here. Unless we're able to get like a running start and go up the wall. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to grab that coin in this run. Well, that's fine. We got plenty of opportunities to get what we need as we're going through here. Bam! Take that. Alright, next area. What do we have here? Bam! Okay, I can see that there is a coin over there. Let's just jump over you. Just want to grab these guys, please. Nah, we'll grab these in a moment. Come on. I guess we could leave one behind. It's not that big a deal. Alright, for this part we gotta be very careful. Alright, just give me a second so we get a running start. Alright, we grabbed a couple of those. We should be good. And time to head back up the mountain. It's kind of interesting that these rock golem guys kind of have Rayman's proportions. It's an interesting design choice for this enemy. We race back up to grab you. Good. Oh, man. It's funny the noises that these toad guys make when you just jump on them or pull their beards. Now, it's a bit of a weird thing to say, considering that we have to save these guys, but, you know, it's still funny. So what I like, too, about this series is that it tends to have a very fun sense of humor at points. I think I can hear something down here. Yep. It's got another secret we can take here. We should have the path open and just smack these guys away now. Alright, I'm gonna leave that guy. It's because I don't want to waste too much time over here in this level. But we were able to save some more Electoons, which is good by me. Alright, now this part... So yeah, this is pretty interesting, as we got this elevator that we're able to ride by smacking these little fans, which enables you to advance higher up this shaft. And you just want to be careful to grab all of the Lums. So I think there isn't any way to make the elevator go down, so... just have to deal with that here. How is this going to... There we go! Get out of here, Mr. Golem! I can see... Got you. Let's quickly hit that so we get some additional... Lums for that. And we grab these guys. So we are just about at the goal for getting the medal in this stage. Yep, there we go. Ow! Take that. Alright, that was another pretty good run of this level. Ha-ha! I must say, it has been years since I last played this game, but it is very nice that we've been having a pretty good run of this game so far. We haven't had too many mess-ups, all things considered. It definitely makes me feel pretty confident for how the remainder of this particular stream series is gonna go. What can I say? I love this game. Now we've beaten that level, we can move on. So got ourselves... Oh, looks like that we can already do the treasure level here, now that we have all of these Electoons. Very nice. So we got the tricky treasure temple that we gotta do. I'm a little curious if we're actually going to be able to do this as Glowbox. As I said before, he tends to be on the trickier side when it comes to these race levels. We'll just see what we can do. Certainly a very cool area. I love the aesthetic we got going on. If I had a heart, I would have made it through there on my first try. I believe if you fail at the race a number of times, it will spawn a heart for you automatically. As I believe that's a thing just in general with the levels. If you die at a certain point enough times, it'll just give you a heart as a freebie. So that is good to bear in mind whenever you're doing these hard sections. Ow! Come on. We can do this. I mean, Glowbox is a pretty big target, but, you know, he's persistent. We can do this. I mean, Glowbox has dealt with far worse than this, given all of the robot pirates and the hoodlums that he had to endure in the past. Chasing a treasure chest, this is child's play for him. Gotta flutter down carefully, and we should be good. Ah! Oh, that is mean. So at a certain point, we got that big spiky ball that's gonna chase after us. So that is going to sour a little bit of our attempt here, but we should be fine. I am plenty confident in Glowbox, even if his track record really isn't the best. It's pretty interesting with the characterization that Glowbox has had over the years, because in older games he certainly showed a lot more cowardice, whereas in this game he's much more on the goofy and silly side compared to everything we've previously seen. But there we go! We're able to grab the tooth as Glowbox, which is very nice for him. And that is the 5th of the Skull Teeth. So we're about halfway through collecting these things. And we are halfway to unlocking the hardest challenge in the game. Oh boy, I'm looking forward to that. Way of the Electoons. We can create a magical bridge now thanks to all the Electoons you set free. I kind of imagine Helena as having a bit of a... possibly a Swedish accent given her design. Way to go! You saved enough Electoons to repair the path and reach a new world at last! So now we got a very windy area we have to traverse. It's gonna make grabbing all these Lums a bit tricky. Yeah, definitely very tricky. Oh, come on. This is definitely a trial and error type of mission. Oh, come on. Yeah, I'm probably going to need to redo this level if we're going to get all of the Electoons in this stage. I think we need at least 150 to get all the Electoons. No, we need 175. Ooh, we did pretty poor there. But it'll be fine. We'll have plenty of chances to go back here if I feel it necessary. So like I said before, we don't need every Electoon in order to get all the levels. It's just a very good idea to get as many Electoons as you can. Golly gee Golem. Oh boy, this is going to be an interesting one. Alright, so starting off here, we got to go up there to grab a heart. Then we'll propel ourselves over this way. So there's something we can reach over here. And you can get yourself a skull coin very easily here. And let's see where else we can get. Well, missed out on that coin. So I believe there's a secret over here. Yep. Alright, so this one is a bit interesting. Gotta time this just right so you smack all the enemies and can break the cage open. So that one isn't too bad. Alright, just want to make sure the vine lowers. Then we can go this way. Ow! There we go. Ooh, we got a lot of Lums to spawn there. And I'm missing most of them because of course I am. Ooh, at least we grabbed all those guys. Very good. Oh, this is a bit awkward. This coin. Ow. Yeah, that is really awkward. I can knock all those guys out with a butt stomp. I shouldn't have done that. No, we missed out on all those guys. You know what? I'm just gonna redo. Yeah, how are we gonna get that coin given its placement? Oh, come on. Sam, when you take damage, any coins you collect go away. So that's in a very awkward spot for us. Whoop! Just gotta keep running while you go down there. Alright, we're able to grab it. Not too bad. Oh, this part. So now we got this section with all this collapsing debris that we gotta handle. And just want to try to make sure that we get ahead of all the falling debris. It's definitely an interesting little section here. And if you are eagle-eyed, you may notice little parts where you can find secrets, like that coin. Then we can move over this way to move on. So yeah, that was definitely a nice little section there. Ooh. And we got ourselves another secret. Alright, this area definitely feels very Donkey Kong inspired. I suppose it's very fitting given that this game was originally released on the Nintendo Wii. So definitely seeing a bit of Nintendo influence there is very appropriate. So yeah, that was a fun little reference. And we got more Electoons. Very nice. Alright, and next thing we gotta worry about is up here. Smack away that guy, and... oh, come on. Ugh, we're not gonna have enough time to grab a lot of these guys. Ow! Come on, Glowbox, we can do this. Alright, so we got another section here with falling debris. take care of this guy, because we can get some more Lums by beating you. Alright, so wait for the right moment, and then we can go up. So I think there's also sections where you can find coins among the debris here, but I'm not sure if we have a chance now. Wait, there's one. We can grab that guy, and then we can mosey on up. Very good. So I think we're all done with that. And look at what we have here. So this is actually our first boss in the game. The aforementioned golem that this stage is named after. To deal with this guy, we just got to maneuver around him and strike him whenever his weak point shows up. Ow! Come on! We almost had you. So yeah, definitely pretty interesting that we get a boss encounter this late into our adventure. None of the worlds that we previously visited had a boss. It's just pretty interesting that we're only getting one now. And it's also pretty interesting because I remember this boss showing up in one of the trailers for this game, though it had a slightly different design to it. So this one, it definitely has a pretty interesting feel to it compared to its original design. Then you just do a ground pound there, and that takes care of the golem. We are all done with him. And now we can move on up to the rest of the level. Should be pretty close to the end now. Yep, there's the last Electoons we need here. Yeah! Alright, we're definitely short of getting the medal, but we still did pretty good. Yeah, we could have definitely done a little bit better to get some more Lums. Besides that, we managed to do pretty good. And now that we've handled the Mystical Peak, because yeah, that's the end of the world already. We don't get a flight level there. We move on to Moody Clouds. We're going to pop over there in just a second. But for now, I want to head back to the Snoring Tree and deposit our new tooth. Ah, thank you. And let's go look at that new character we just unlocked. As I believe this is going to be the zombie Teensy. So, yep. Got this guy, and then look who we have. We need 220 Electoons in order to unlock this costume. So this particular character is known as Ray Nemesis, or also known as Dark Rayman, who I believe is a character from the original Rayman game. Sadly, there's not much we're going to be able to do with him. But you know, we can be a zombie Teensy. Ugh. I've come for your pickle. The first Grand Minimus, the worst for wear. Thanks for guarding the heart of the world all this time, old chap. Now go finish your bucket list. Gesundheit. So yeah, apparently that was the first King of the Teensies. The original Grand Minimus. Of course, now that we've taken care of all that, how about we head off to Moody Clouds. Riding the Storm. Let's see what we can do here. Hey guys. Thank you for saving my sisters. Now we fear the kings of each land have succumbed to the nightmare. We need their magic to enter the Dreamer's Door. Seek them out. Oh. So yeah, it seems like we're not going to be able to move onward in our journey until we can find some other places. So after visiting the Moody Clouds for the first time, this unlocks some new stages we're able to play in all the worlds that we have previously visited. So yep, this is why I said we're about at the halfway point of our adventure. Because we have to go back to the worlds we have previously visited and play some new levels. So alright, for the remainder of this playthrough, what we're going to be doing is I'm not going to be tackling one world per session from this point forward. We are going to try and do as much of this section as we can. So probably gonna try to do around an hour to an hour and a half per session here. And we're already about a half hour in here, so we'll definitely have a lot of time to go through some of these. So let's start things off by heading to the new levels from the first world. We got the Ticklish Temples. Out of my way! So yeah, this is definitely an interesting choice that this game makes here. Having to go back to worlds we have previously visited, though with some new surprises in store for us here. I can definitely see this as a part of the game that some fans of this game don't particularly gel with, because you're basically redoing a bunch of areas that you have previously been to. But, you know, the levels aren't entirely the same. There's a lot of variation into the levels that you get to revisit. Alright, what are we gonna do here? Thinking we could probably... Yep, you can jump on the missiles to use them as platforms. And that enables us to go over here to grab these Electoons. Alright, very nice getting through that secret there. And yeah, we definitely have our work cut out for us. Since we're gonna be going through so many different areas, and because this section of the game really doesn't have any too many new surprises for us, so I figured we could talk about a bunch of different things as we're just going through this section. So, thinking about what we could talk about. So, pretty recently, something that is very cool to me as someone who's been a fan of animation, and especially a lot of internet animations over the last couple of years, is a pilot for a new animated show has premiered on YouTube that I am very, very passionate about. So it's a show called Game Overs, which is a series created by Ross O'Donovan, who many people know as being someone who worked with Game Grumps for quite a few years. Though these days, he has mostly been focusing on, like, animation stuff. And obviously, he's been spending a lot of time working on this new pilot, Gameverse, which is based on, like, animations that he used to do way back in the day on Newgrounds. And, yeah, it is just so good to see his pilot finally come to fruition after all this time. Especially because this is one that he was encouraged to work on by the late Monty Ohm, the creator of the series RWBY. So, you know, that's another very nice thing regarding the history of this particular project. And yeah, I just really love Gameverse. I think it is a fantastic series. From the one episode that we got so far, I just think it's incredible. Oh, just between the world building and the concept and, like, seeing all of these characters from obviously different worlds coming together for the singular purpose of trying to save all of these video game worlds from being destroyed is a very interesting concept. Like, the deal of Gameoverse is that it's a reality where all video games are their own little planets, and these worlds are structured so that if the protagonist of the game actually manages to defeat the antagonist and win the game, it results in their world being destroyed in an apocalyptic event. And the main character of the show, Kit, is one such hero who accidentally caused the destruction of her world. Well, I mean, I say accidentally, but only in the sense that she didn't mean to have it destroyed. She was trying to save her world from the bad guys, but inadvertently caused the destruction of her world in the process because she didn't know how the rules of the Gameoverse worked. And yeah, just a very fun concept for this show, especially with the different partners she has. Like, she has this wisecracking robotic backpack act to serve as a companion, as well as this dinosaur character from, like, an educational game, who is just very funny and also just a beacon of joy and positivity in this very bleak universe. And he also is a pretty significant because of the trailer that Glitch posted previously, which showcased showcased the game that Gobbles the Lurnosaurus came from, and how his world ultimately got destroyed because he beat the game, and how Kit has helped to give him new life with trying to save all the other people who are in these video game worlds. It's very nice to see these characters interacting, especially the little arc that Gobbles has, where he becomes a bit more confident in himself and is able to help Kit out in a very pivotal moment when she starts spiraling. And also goes without saying, just so many of other aspects I really love, like the voice acting in this cartoon is so top-notch. Like, all of the different voice actors, like Erica Linebeck, Elsie Lovelock, Aaron Hansen, they all did so well with the different characters they were playing. And also they got Chris Sabat, who is the voice of Vegeta and Piccolo, in on the project too, as one of the villains, and my god, is his performance so good. Like, he is so freaking intimidating and just a force to be reckoned with, who I'm excited to see more of as this series progresses. But of course, we only got a pilot for this show so far, and very interested to see what kind of concepts they do later on. Like, one of the fun things with this pilot is that the entirety of the episode takes place in a water world, and you get to see both the main characters dressed in swimwear, and also a lot of fun aquatic themed characters for the cast to interact with. It's just a fun time. I really enjoy the pilot a lot. Just great animation, awesome characters and concept. It's definitely something I am really excited to see get picked up as a full show. And as someone who's been enjoying a lot of other stuff from Glitch pretty recently, like, I love the amazing Digital Circus, and I really got a lot of enjoyment from the trailers for, well, the pilots for Knights of Guinevere and the Gaslight District, so yeah, I am really excited to see Gameoverse eventually become a full series. Especially because I've been following Ross's content for so many years, and I love his cartoony art style. It's definitely pretty similar to how I try to draw my own characters, you know? So yeah, that is my thoughts on the new pilot. Definitely excited to see more. And I'm not going to go into any of the discourse that's been going on revolving that show, because personally, I do not care to engage with that kind of drama. Yeah, definitely been a fun time, and I recommend anyone else who may be watching to check it out if you're a fan of animation, and especially video game related stuff, because it's a good time if you enjoy all those things. So this area is going to be pretty neat, as we have to use these platforms here in order to get where we needed to. Over here and grab these. So I definitely believe that these next couple levels are going to be pretty interesting for progressing, as things are going to get a lot trickier in these levels compared to what we saw before. Alright, so I believe when I go down here, and... Come on, no, we can do this. So I'm not sure if there's a secret up there, but I do want to check. Oh, nope. Okay, what I want to do is go onto this platform so that we can reach the skull coin. Okay, and we can spring up here to grab another coin. Very good. So yeah, besides Gameaverse, what is something else that we could mention just as we're going through here? Just thinking about some other stuff that I have been doing recently that would be fun to talk about. So the last couple of days, I've actually been playing a game called Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, which is definitely a very interesting game, especially with sort of the history of a lot of different video games, since this game was created by someone who helped develop the Castlevania series. But after that game sort of went on a bit of a, what I would say a hiatus, I would really say a lack of support from the developers Konami. And this game was created in order to pay tribute to, like, the classic area of Castlevania games. And I've been going through it, I've been enjoying it quite a bit. There's definitely some parts of it that I don't really gel with, though that could be just because I am out of practice with this particular game and haven't played too much of it. But there are definitely some good parts to it. And obviously, something else to mention with regards to that is that this particular game also has another game, well, a couple of different games that are also part of the Bloodstained IP that are pretty interesting to mention. Ow! So we got these shadowy hands we gotta deal with in the water. So I'm gonna duck down here so we can grab these guys. It looks like there's a secret over here. Jump up, we can grab that skull coin. Very good. So yeah, my first exposure to the Bloodstained games was actually playing Bloodstained Circle of the Moon, which was designed to emulate the feel of the classic NES Castlevania games. Whereas Ritual of the Night is more similar to games like Symphony of the Night in terms of structure. So the games definitely have a very different feel to them, even if they do reuse very similar characters and bosses. It's also pretty interesting with the characters you play as in the game, since in Circle of the Moon, your main character is Zangetsu, whereas in Ritual of the Night, your player character is Miriam. So that's definitely pretty interesting with the way that is all structured. And I'm also pretty interested to see what else we can expect, because I'm getting to the part in Ritual of the Night where I'm about ready to get started on the end game. Oh, we got a shooter section here. So yeah, I'm definitely pretty excited to play some more Ritual of the Night pretty soon, especially considering what we got coming up. And with what I am planning to do pretty soon once I am done with that game. as I've actually wanted to revisit Subnautica and do another playthrough of that game pretty soon. For a pretty obvious reason, given that the latest entry in the Subnautica series, Subnautica 2, is actually now available through early access. So the game is still being developed, but there's a good chunk of it that is finished. So it's quite nice to see the way that game is developing. Also, I know that that game has a ton of baggage behind it, like with how the publishers that bought the company that made the Subnautica games have been kind of trying to screw them over. But thankfully things have been better lately, and I'm gonna be pretty excited to see this series eventually get just to eventually see Subnautica 2 be fully complete, as I expect that to be a really good time. Especially because the game has multiplayer functionality, and I could definitely see me and my friends having a lot of fun with it. Like, I've been telling one of my friends who has only played a couple minutes of Subnautica that he should really play the first game, because it is amazing. And I also eventually plan on playing it for this channel at some point. Maybe we'll get around to it next year. I still have quite a few plans for what we're going to be playing on this channel in the future, so yeah, it's definitely going to be a bit before we dive into that game in particular, but I really love Subnautica. It's one of my favorite video games of all time, and I'm definitely excited to share my experiences with it here on this channel. But anyway, we are gonna skip on the treasure mission here, because we do not have enough Electoons. So we're just gonna move on to Hunter-Gatherer. Oh boy, with a name like that, we can expect some interesting things in store for us. Well, this also looks like a flight level, so shouldn't be too bad. Alright, time for Glowbox to just shoot all the nasties we gotta deal with. Love these little fly guys, they're so goofy looking. And I gotta say that about most of the enemies in this game. They typically have very fun designs. Alright, there's certain sections where you do want to be careful around here. Especially around these large, black, spiky balls. So be very careful when going through here and dealing with all the enemies. And especially be careful when gathering the Lums. So if you're not careful, you could screw yourself out of getting a lot of good amounts here. Alright, we got a pretty good haul so far. And then, oh boy, we got this section here. So a lot of these shooting levels, definitely inspired by a lot of games like Gradius and the like. I typically associate these kind of levels with like the shooter sections that I typically see in Kirby games, as that's a series that really loves to have its segments where Kirby is just shooting at enemies from like a starship or something. Ow! So got some very nasty vines that we gotta deal with in this part. Definitely like the atmosphere around here, just the way these dark vines are just closing in around you. Makes this whole section feel very claustrophobic, but in a good way. Has an interesting atmosphere to it. Very menacing, but in a way also kind of beautiful. Like the way the dark vines are contrasting with the very light backdrop. Yeah, it's a very interesting looking area. Also reminds me a bit of the Bramble stages from the Donkey Kong Country games. Specifically, Donkey Kong Country 2. Since that game is pretty well known for the Bramble stages. They're typically one of my favorite levels to go through in that game. Oh man, the Donkey Kong games are also something I want to do for this channel at some point. Because I had a lot of fun playing those games when I was younger. And it'd be definitely pretty fun going through them here. Let's quickly grab those guys. Oh, there's a king. I don't think we're gonna grab you in time. Nope, we got you. Okay, we have enough to get all the Electoons. Just need to be very careful here. Well, we made it through that section of the cave. Still got a lot more to deal with. I'm not too concerned with getting the medals in these levels, but it would be nice to get a few. Just gotta shoot at the diagonal to grab that one. How much further do we got here? Nope, that's it. Alright, not a too bad of a joyride through there. But with that, we have made it through another stage. Very nice. Yeah, we were definitely missing a lot of Lums in order to get the medal. Yeah, these later levels in the game are definitely going to take a lot out of you when it comes to trying to perfect these levels. Like I said before, I'm not trying to do every possible thing in this game. So I don't care about going for the medals, I don't really care about doing the time trials. It's mainly just going for the main story and then doing the bonus levels. That is my main priority here. But after clearing up that level, we can move on to Climb Out. Ooh, this is the level I think it is. This is going to be pretty interesting. Uh-oh. Got some more of these scary vines here. Just quickly grab these Lums. And let's head over this way. So yeah, this is the level I think it is. Things are gonna get pretty interesting. Alright, I'm starting to think this isn't the level I was thinking of, but it is pretty similar thematically. Well, that was an interesting bonus stage. Pretty simple, all things considered. But yeah, definitely love the atmosphere of these jungle levels. Compared to the ones that we encountered earlier in our adventure, back when we first started, these ones definitely have a more menacing feel to them. Like, I definitely love jungle levels in video games, as I really love the aesthetic they have to them, and it can be very fun to traverse these areas in a lot of different games. And these areas have definitely been very vibrant, as well as having a decent amount of challenge, especially in these later stages, as we've definitely seen a lot more dangerous plants around here that have been getting in our way from time to time. This area's definitely been pretty good at showing the more menacing side of jungles. Alright, we grabbed all those guys. Oh, come on. Alright, we gotta be careful if we want to get that coin over there. Oh, come on. Fox, you can do better than this. Guess something I can mention while we're just redoing this part. So very recently I've started to upload the VODs from my Stardew Valley playthrough I was doing on my Twitch channel over onto YouTube. And it's been pretty fun reliving that playthrough vicariously through these uploads. Because that's definitely a game I have a lot of love and respect for. And I definitely love to return to playing that game sometime on this channel. It's definitely going to take a little while, but I would definitely really like to, especially with some of the things that we still need to clear in that particular game. But I know we'll have a fun time of it. But yeah, been pretty fun revisiting some of the bits of my playthrough, and especially seeing some of the things that I said during that run, and how a few of my different opinions have changed over time with regards to a few things. For the most part, I feel like a lot of my opinions have been pretty similar to how I was at the start of my time playing Stardew, but a few other things that have been... Well, careful. Alright, I definitely think there's a secret we missed here, so I'm just gonna slide back down. So I don't think we need to worry about getting crushed there. If we head over here, we can grab a coin. Thank you, Glowbox. Alright, so we should be all good here in this room. Let me tell you, Glowbox, after this session, you are definitely going to earn some fun alone time with Uglet. Alright, so over here we got these caterpillar platforms that will retract after you land on them, which is pretty unique compared to some of the other things that we've been dealing with around here. Alright, so we should be able to get up here. Then we can go over and grab that coin. Very good. Woo! It's definitely been an interesting stage. Ooh. And we got another shooting section. So I feel like this one's gonna be... Yeah, we definitely gotta watch out for being crushed around here. So definitely be careful when going through this section. Whoa. Take that. Alright, so that does it for that area. Ooh, look at our Lums! We definitely have more than enough to get the medal in this stage. Wow. So that means we're probably almost done here. Alright, let's go on through and see what we got. Oh, we still going? I expected us to be done by now. Ow! Don't worry, Glowbox, you're fine. So we gotta carefully make our way up here to avoid being crushed. And we should be just at the end here now. Let's break open that thing and crush those fools. So yeah, that was a pretty good run of that level. Definitely had a lot of tricks for us to deal with, but we made it through in one piece. And I believe we are just about done with this world, considering how much progress we have made through here at the moment. And especially with how much time we currently have in this session. So after finishing that one, we can move on to... Oh, we are almost done, actually. So let's do Still Flowing. And then I believe we should be pretty close to the end here. So from the name of this place, I'm expecting this to be a stage that has a lot of water to traverse. Yep, we got some water like that. Be very careful there. Now, we'll go back for those guys in a bit. Nope, want to go back, please. There we go. Managed to grab the guys we missed. Alright. Let's grab these guys. And, well, there's a little section that we can slip through. Alright. So that could be useful to us in a moment. So they want us to shrink down. That gives us an interesting choice we can make here. I mean, we don't have to shrink down if we don't have to. I just want to quickly check around here. Alright, if we shrink down, then we can grab that guy. Alright, so let's go shrink. Honey, I shrunk the glow box! It's kind of interesting to think that I haven't actually watched any of the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids movies. Because I know they're definitely pretty fun ones. I mean, I did see a little bit of the first movie. And let me tell you, there's some moments from that movie that definitely were pretty traumatizing for young me when he first saw them. But, you know, it's all good. Alright, that one wasn't too bad. Good use of the wall climbing mechanic in order to get to those guys. Come to think of it, just thinking about Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, that did remind me that I still have a lot of films that are on my list of movies that I still have not seen, despite I'd having so much time in order to watch movies. Like, there's definitely a lot from the classic era of cinema, like Casablanca and Gone with the Wind, that I obviously haven't watched yet. It's like, I think the oldest movie I've actually watched is The Wizard of Oz, which is like one of my favorite movies from when I was a kid, and I still feel holds up really well today. So it's just such a revolutionary movie. And definitely a good time. Can easily recommend checking it out if you haven't. Guys, gotta be careful over here. Ow! Ow! Okay, that one is not gonna be too bad, but I do have to deal with being small here. I can deny it no longer! I am small. At the very least, some of the Lums around here do refresh, which is very nice. Ooh, found another secret over here. Wow, and we already have enough Lums to get the thing. Ooh, that's good. Alright, so we can hit that to knock you down. Then we can strike this guy down and knock down that other pillar to get our prize. Yeah, we've definitely been gathering a lot of Lums in this stage. Pretty crazy how many you can get here. I mean, the magician is going to be happy we're collecting all of these Lums. Still makes you wonder why we are gathering so many, you know? But I'm sure the answers will come to us eventually. So we should be all done here. Alright, we can grow big again by heading through that space. Bam! And just needed to go through this tree hollow to get back to the chest. Very nice. That was a very good run of that level. We got a lot of the Lums we needed. So once again, we got all the Electoons we need here. So now we finished up this level. It is time for the big one. Hooray! Poor little Daisy. So we got ourselves another boss level, as you can expect here. And this is going to be pretty interesting. Going into our next major boss after dealing with the Golem. So this level, be prepared. So we got ourselves a big, monstrous plant that we got to escape through here. So this level, we are going to be chased by this giant flower as we're going through here. And you just want to try and get through here as quickly as you can, as this thing is just going to be chasing after us. Definitely has a more menacing atmosphere to it compared to some of the other levels we have been through. And ow! It's definitely going to be tricky to get all of the different things we need here. So we obviously still need to grab Lums and stuff while we're doing this level. So you want to be quick about it with grabbing everything that you need. I really want to grab this King Lum. Nope. Yeah, this one may take us a little while in order to get everything, but I'm going to be persistent. I do not want this overgrown weed to get the better of me. No siree. Alright, just bounce off your head, grab those. We can restock our hearts right there, so we got another free hit. We'll just leave those Lums there. They're really not important right now. Ow! We're gonna have to leave that coin behind. Yeah, there's no way we can grab it at the moment. You know, I'm not too concerned about not getting certain collectibles around here. We can always come back to this level later. Jump up here now. We can grab these guys. And now we got this section where the plant is coming at us from behind. Luckily, we're able to get past you here. And let us head over this way. Definitely want to be quick about moving through here. Ow! Oh, come on, Glowbox. We can do it. Ah! We're good. But now it is time for the big fight against Carnivorous, the first major boss here in our adventure. So you want to be very careful with this thing. It will naturally try to attack you from all sorts of angles. So be sure to be careful when dealing with this thing. So now she is going to try and crush us with her big noggin. So want to be very careful here. Alright, now the weak point is on her butt. Fall down and break you down. Ow! Okay, so we don't want to be at that angle. Okay. Thankfully, the checkpoint is right at the start of the battle against Carnivorous, so we don't need to worry too much about losing progress here. It's a pretty simple fight, all things considered. But yeah, definitely love the design of this thing. Like, it looks so frickin' grotesque. Just all the thorns around it. It's such a nasty looking plant. Alright, want to be on this side here. And then want to be careful of that. Just gonna leap over here and then... Yeah. I definitely misjudged where we need to go there. It's fine. We'll get this on the next run. Luckily, she doesn't require too many hits to beat. Sort of a trend with all the bosses in this game, really. Alright, we got this phase. Just let her do her smash attack, and we'll be good. Alright, jump on to the right side for this next phase. And then we gotta go under her when she jumps. Ow. Come on, we can do this. Definitely love the music that plays during these boss fights. Definitely has a menacing feel to it. And it's one of the more seldom heard tracks in the game, because there's only a couple of boss fights, and they happen so late into the game. Yeah, this part should be good. Just wait for you to jump to the middle, then you're going to jump to the back, and then you're going to jump all the way over there. Then you're going to jump back into the middle, back over there. Alright, her tail will... her tongue extends, and then you can smack her final weak point. And that takes care of Carnivorous. Why, thank you! I don't know what got into me! I'm a vegan! Well, at the very least, we were able to free that poor little flower from being a monster. So yeah, but it seems the power of the nightmares that escaped the land of the Livid Dead have now corrupted a good deal of the good characters in the Glade of Dreams and are turning them into monsters. Really shows the level of threat that we are dealing with in this stage of our adventure. But with that, we were able to defeat the boss of the Ticklish Temples and freed one of the local monarchs. We just got 3 more to go before we are done this adventure. And I feel like now is a good point for us to stop here. Managed to make some excellent progress, managing to climb up the Mystic Peak and beat the first of the major bosses, paving the way to the final level in the game. So thank you for joining me here in this leg of our adventure. Next time we'll be heading off to the desert in order to deal with the big boss we have there, and then we'll be moving on to some of the other worlds in our adventure. So thank you, and I will see you all again very soon. Have a good day. and take care.